Hi, this is Paul from Made the Coffee. Just wanted to do another quick test using the 1Zpresso JX grinder and the Wacaco Picopresso to see whether or not the standard grind settings for the JX is going to be sufficient to dial in for this product. What I'm doing is I've used the standard setting number 8 on the grind reference chart from 1Zpresso. They state that the espresso grind starts from 0.8, which is not a full rotation, and I'm going to start with that and see if that's enough for this. Wacaco also state on their grind reference chart for this product that this product uses ultra fine grind, so we'll see if this is enough for that. And I'm going to start now. Obviously I've ground the coffee already. It's in the portafilter there in the basket. I've primed the product, so that's nice and hot, and I'm gonna pump it and see what we get. Right, I feel that one's a little bit too coarse. It just seemed to come out too easy. So yeah, it's a little bit too coarse, that. Still, it's not too bad. It's okay. That crema's quite nice. It's creamy, but you can see the bubbles around the side. I think that's just, it's too watery, to be honest. The extraction a little bit too fast. There wasn't really much resistance with the pumping. It's a very tight setting, that, to be honest. I mean, that's okay. It's not too bad, to be honest, but you know, I think it could be better. Maybe I'll try a different setting, try and get it a little bit tighter than that. But that seems to be, it's not as good as that last one, but still looks not so bad, to be honest, if you're stuck and you don't have the JX Pro with the extra fine adjustment settings. Yeah, there you go, that's that. Okay, that's starting to pre-infuse. I'll leave that a few seconds. Feels a little bit better this shot. Seems like it's kind of a little bit tighter. Okay. It's a little bit harder to push in. Okay. Yeah, I think that's... No, I'm going to stop that there because that's really too difficult to push in. It's just, it's blocked, it's choked completely. It's eased off a little bit, I suppose, but yeah, I think that's far too fine, and I'm not going to push that anymore in case I break the seal or the gasket or something. So yeah, 2 stops down from the first is just definitely too much for that.
I'm going to ease off that. It feels a little bit, also a little bit difficult to pump. Yeah, that's quite difficult to pump also, even on 7. I've gone up one number there, and that's quite hard to press in there, like it's almost choked as well. Right, I'm going to leave that just a little bit longer to no. I think it's going to have to be in between. No, I think that's choked as well. No, you can see there, that's no good either. That's definitely choked. So I'm going to stop this here, and I'm going to start using the fine adjustments in between the numbers for the JX, see if we get a better extraction from that. Okay, so that kind of choked a little bit. I've let the pressure out. I haven't tried to pump it for about 10 seconds, and that's kind of released the pump handle a little bit. It looks like it's going through, but it's still really blocked, and it's really difficult to push in. That is 1 click below 8 on the JX, and it's not grinding in that for this one. And that's only 1 click below 8. I was getting a little bit of a fast shot on 8, so that's only 1 click, and that really makes a difference with the JX. That's where the fine adjustments really come in for the JX Pro, and you can see it's quite difficult to push that in. I don't want to press it in too much and break it, so I'm going to leave that and try dropping it down 1 more click. So I'll just stop this now and readjust it and grind some more beans and try one last time. You see from that last shot there, it's still got a crema, but it's quite thin, got a lot of bubbles in that. Really, again, I think that might have been the coffee again. I'm not really sure what's going on there, because that is just it's a click below 8, and it should be okay, but it's quite elusive. The JX is not really getting there with this. I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to roast some more fresh coffee tonight, and I'm going to try that. Maybe drop the dose down a little bit, perhaps.
not really sure where else to go with that, but it just looks like the JX is not really, it's just not really going there. So, you know, I would say definitely this has got to be the JX Pro, because when I did the first shot on my original video, I didn't even have to bother with the fine adjustments. I just kind of went for a number and it seemed to be okay. I dropped the number down, it got a little bit better. I went down too far and it was obviously too much, so I went back to the original and it was okay. I didn't really do any of the fine adjustments on it, and I'm pretty sure if I did that, I really could have, you know, dialed in like a very good shot. The opposite with the JX, it just doesn't seem to want to settle for anything. I've tried the numbers up above, down below. I've tried all of the clicks in between, and it's just not getting there really, to be honest. The first shot was okay, a little bit fast, but it seemed to be the better one out of the two, and that was on 8. So, you know, one more try and I think I'll give up on this one.
Okay, I'm going to start the extraction now. Right, I'm going to pre-infuse that for a second and let that rest a bit. Okay. Right, just judging by how easy it is to pump that, that's too coarse. That is definitely too coarse. Yeah. So I would say that needs to be dialed back probably to about, I don't know, another 3 numbers, easy.
It's a little bit thin, a little bit too close. I think this one might be the coffee actually as well. The beans I've used, maybe they are a little bit old. These are a couple of weeks old now, so maybe they're a bit older than I really want for that. But you can see again the setting, I've gone 1 click down, closer to the 7. I'm going to try some different beans, so I have a feeling that might just be the actual beans and not the grind setting. You can see it's not seriously bad, but it's just a bit thin. It went through pretty quickly for my liking. It just didn't seem to want to, you know, when you were pumping, it just seemed to be pushing it through too quick. But we'll get there, definitely. I think the next one will be the decider. Second attempt, grind size has gone down by 2 numbers, and that's what it looks like in the basket. It's nice and uniform and it's been tamped pretty well. I'm not sure how channeling is going to affect this product yet, but it looks okay. Nothing really up the sides or any kind of way any sort of channeling can happen there, but you never know. But yeah, okay, attempt number 2. So that's the grind setting for this shot. You can see it's not the best. It's starting to, the crema's starting to dissipate quite quickly. That's maybe a minute or something, 2 minutes at the most. but that's the setting for that. It just seems weird. It seems like a little bit too coarse, even though that last setting was on 8, and I've dialed it a click down, a click more fine. So that's really odd, and I haven't changed the tamping or anything. Maybe the water temperature, who knows. Weird. Anyway, I'm going to try one more click down and see what happens, and that's my only option at that point, where you've got the number 8, which seemed okay, not perfect but acceptable. Number 7 was a little bit too tight, felt a little bit choked, and that click there just is confusing me. So I'm going to knock it down one click closer to the 7 and see what we get. Maybe that's it for some reason. I don't know why. These things sometimes don't have to make sense, they just work. So I'm going to try that next. So you can see by that it's a little bit thin. The crema is not so thick on the top. It came out pretty fast. I did a pre-infusion, but it seemed like it was really wanting to come out, so I didn't leave it too long for the pre-infusion. But it's got some crema on there, and it's not the worst espresso I've ever seen, even though it definitely needs taking back about maybe 2 or 3 numbers to see what we got. I'm not sure yet about any fine adjustments, but I'm going to do it again, maybe take it back 2 numbers and see what we've got. I think that might be okay for that, but it's not the worst. It's not the worst espresso. This one seems quite easy to get to the pre-infusion stage. I still have a feeling that this might be a little bit coarse. But no, it's not so bad. Okay. Now, I would say that's not so bad. The crema's quite thick on that. It's a little bit thin, just looking at it. I could be wrong, but it's a lot better. The actual extraction seems to be a lot easier, and it doesn't seem to want to kind of struggle to pump so much. So, yeah, that one looks a little bit better. It's like Guinness, it's quite nice, and it's quite creamy. It looks nice. There's not any real indication of it being too thin, like a lot of bubbles or anything around the side. It looks quite good. Not a bad extraction, I think. Again, maybe those fine adjustments in between the numbers might actually help to just dial that in a little bit better. But that one seems to be not so bad, to be honest. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. That extraction was just below 8, a click under 8 on the JX. It was a little bit tight, but if I stopped for a few seconds to let the pumping handle kind of rest and then continued a couple of pumps and then started again, it seemed to be okay. It seemed to, you know, it was difficult, but it actually got quite a good extraction.
That is okay, it's not so bad. You can see the crema's quite nice. It was a little bit difficult to pump, but other than that, it's quite a nice thick crema, not like the last time. I've just roasted this coffee, so it literally got roasted about 2 hours ago, perhaps. It hasn't had a lot of time to rest, so maybe that's one of the reasons why, you know, it's a little bit difficult. It's given off some gas, it's degassing, I suppose. But what I might do is to put it up to 8, 1 click up, and then just up the dose a little bit, maybe instead of 18 grams, maybe knock it up to 19 grams, and I'm kind of thinking that maybe that's the key here. I'm thinking that might be the best, but that's not so bad. That's the JX Pro. It can get there. It's not the best, to be honest. It's a little bit of a workaround, but you can get a decent espresso out of that. It's okay. Okay, that's on number 8 on the JX, the 1Zpresso JX. It's pretty good. It's kind of come full circle. I started with the 8 setting originally because that's what 1Zpresso kind of advise you on the grind reference chart. I tried to play around with it a little bit and take it down a number, a full number, and it just choked it. I kind of went from there back up again, you know, just a kind of increment of a click each time, and it just wasn't really doing anything. I took it to a click just under 8, and it was a little bit hit and miss. You kind of seemed like it depended on what kind of coffee you put in there. I tried to play around with the ratio a little bit by basically putting in a little bit extra coffee. And it didn't seem to really do much difference, to be honest. I kind of thought, okay, the originally on the 8 setting, it seemed a little bit fast, like it was coming out. It didn't really have much resistance when you were pumping it. And it seemed like it was a little bit of an under extraction. So I thought, okay, I'll kind of up the dose a little bit and put 19 grams instead of 18 on 8 setting. And it just seemed to choke it a little bit. So I've gone back to 18 grams on the 8 setting. And it seemed a little bit like you have to kind of stop and start and then stop and start, pump a couple of times and then just relax a little bit, wait, pump a couple of times and then kind of do it that way. But that's a pretty decent shot, to be honest. You can see it's got nice crema in there. It's actually quite nice. But it's one of those things where you're going to have to work for it. You can get it with the JX, but you're really going to have to work for it. And I think a lot of the time it's going to depend on the beans that you put in there. I think the tamping's not such an issue. The actual ring that you put on top of the basket helps you with that a lot. So you can't really over tamp too much with that. And that's good that it actually does that. Otherwise, that's going to be another thing you're going to have to really worry about. Level tamping and over tamping and stuff. But I think, you know, if you're prepared to just, you know, have a go and then just play around with it a little bit, you can actually get a decent shot out of that with the JX. That's a couple of good ones I've got so far. I think I'm going to leave it there because I'm burning through my coffee and I'm having to roast more coffee just to kind of do a test on the JX. And that's okay. It's actually, yeah, that's not bad at all, to be honest. It looks okay. So if anybody's interested, if they've got a JX and they want to buy this product and they're wondering about that, I hope this is kind of helpful to you. You know, if you're prepared to mess around a little bit and kind of work for it a little bit, you can get a decent shot from that. So yeah, anyway, hopefully you like my video, and if you do, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're interested in this, because I'll be posting a few more videos about different grinders and stuff to do with the Picopresso. Maybe I'll do a Q2, a 1Zpresso Q2 test next and see what we get from that. So yeah, anyway, thank you for watching and good luck and stay safe.